what's up, you guys? Ben here from Mountain Mafia. We are on my back property, my back 10 acres, and we're going on a little cruise in my son Noah's LX450 that we've been putting together. So let me bring you up to speed on LX450/FJ80 Land Cruiser. Toyota offered the FJ80 from 1990 to 1997. In 96 and 97, it was an LX450 Lexus, and that's what we have here. So we put some gears, lockers, wheels, tires, a bunch of other stuff, and we're actually just going for a little cruise today to break in those gears. We're gonna take you back to that whole gear install here so you can check out some of that and the other stuff that we've done to it as well. We're pretty stoked. We picked this thing up thinking the motor may have problems, and actually it was just the engine oil cooler on the side of the block. The bolts came loose. So it had some leaks that looked bad, and it put a tiny bit of oil in the coolant, and I knew something weird was going on there. So I literally flushed the coolant, tightened the bolts because the gaskets were all brand new, and it hasn't had a problem yet. They got a couple $1,000s just in camshafts in this engine. I don't know a whole lot about it, so it makes it interesting. It's that big straight 6 that they use in 96, 97. It's got a full stainless exhaust. It also has a new transmission in it. They spent some money on this sucker. It's got like the old man emu style suspension, decent shocks, sway bar relocation. It's got some caster plates on it. So my son has been driving it all summer long, and now he's off at college, and it's a perfect time to do some of the other stuff that we want to do to this thing. You know, we've had a plan for this rig for quite a while, and we've been ordering parts and kind of stacking parts. It pretty much started with some of these wheels. These are sidetrack off-road forged beadlock wheels, and they're super nice quality. This is a forged beadlock, which typically costs almost $1,000 a piece, depending on what you're doing. These are pretty affordable, right around $500 each, and we can air down to about 3 pounds with these. We don't have our Mickey Thompsons yet, so we're running the Kanate Mud Hogs. Kanate. And we're gonna see how they do in the snow. We're gonna air these suckers down and abuse them, and hopefully they do okay for us. Tires are only part of it, you know? You have to have lockers if you want to wheel in the snow here in North Idaho. So we'll tell you about those next. I just put some gears in it, waited all Christmas break for these gears to show up. They finally showed up. Now, these Land Cruisers, or in this case, Lexus LX450, they run this bigger 9.5-inch ring gear third member. We got one with an air locker in it, an ARB, and we went with 529 gears to try to even that out and give us some snow wheeling gears. Got the rear end in, threw some brakes on it last night. Today, I'm messing with the front. Gonna put the high pinion, reverse rotation, 529 set in with another ARB air locker. I just gotta knock the tie rod off of there so I can kind of pull it out of the way to drop the third member out. The other one was a bitch, so I'm gonna have to beat the shit out of this thing. Well, shit, we lucked out. The other one was hard. That was no big deal. Just got one more nut and we can pull that third member out. Hopefully we don't make too much of a mess today. Probably will, because I'm kind of just rushing and rolling on this thing. I gotta weasel a couple of these little washers off of there. Grab my new AMSOIL magnet again. Maybe that'll help. I hate these little bastards. There we go. Stinking. Okay, matching set. Let's see what we got here. Again, just stock and open, but it is a nice high pinion, so we're gonna get our friend J-Ball to help us re-gear these, put in that tray locker, and have a set for our white Land Cruiser. So this is a trail gear, high pinion 529 setup for the front of the LX450 in here. And it's got an ARB locker. When air is applied, it locks. You know, in case you don't know what that is, there's several different kinds of lockers. ARB is one of the better brands, been around a long time, and this is what a lot of the Toyota guys run. I used to do a lot of this Toyota stuff, but I've been in these Havoc rigs and dealing with the big stuff for so long. It's been many, many, many years now. It's kind of cool to work on this stuff. It's lighter. It's almost like Legos or building a kit. where I'm used to doing full custom stuff all the time. This stuff is a pleasure to work on. It's light and it goes together nice. These are always a bitch with the airline for sure, but you just got to take some special precautions and do it right. No point in putting it in if the air isn't going to the locker. But we see these things fail all the time too. All these fittings and the little brass line inside gets eaten up by the ring gear. Pretty common. So the key is a good install, really. I could get the training jack and all that, but I'm just trying to stab this bastard so we can get something else done. You know, another part, if you want to survive snow wheeling with gears and lockers, big tires, definitely axle shafts. So we got our RCV 300M front FJ80 axles, and I think those are going to do the trick. We shouldn't be having any trouble with those. I've actually been working with RCV for a long time. They supported us at the Top Truck Challenge in 2011, and I'm actually the originator of the 2-inch 47 spline Big Bell RCV shaft for the 2.5 ton axles. And they've been a great supporter of us for many years. So check them out, RCV axles. Now that we showed you all the gears and lockers and stuff underneath, you keep hearing us talk about the air system. So have a look. This is an ARB twin compressor air system. And I bent up this nice little compartment shelf that mounts right to the top of the fender. The cruise control used to go right here. We don't really use it on this. So we lost the cruise control for this crawler. And I got my air manifold and my solenoids that control the lockers right here. And we even have our own air hose and air system here to air up the tires for going back home. We kind of told you what we've been doing to this thing. We arrived at Round Lake State Park next to my property. Loved growing up here, beautiful spot. Good little spot to test drive to sometimes. So let's do a little walk around. I'll show you some of the stuff we were talking about earlier. These are those sidetracked off-road forged bead locks. We're gonna wind up cutting down this bumper so we can fit a winch in. And to me, this looks lame. I don't like this at all. So we're gonna try to put some good style to this. I'm actually gonna change a little bit on the mounts, and I'm gonna move this axle just a little bit farther forward because when our Mickey Thompsons show up, they're gonna be a little bit bigger. We need a little more clearance there. So a little bit of forethought, and we're gonna make sure that we get that set up so we can clear the bigger 38 or 39 inch Mickeys. We are gonna build some rock sliders because this thing's a little tough to get into. And she stink bugs a little bit. That's when the back sits a little higher than the front. So I might do a little adjusting, maybe throw some different springs in the back. I like these things to sit level when they're loaded down myself. You can see we got a bunch of lights up top. We got all our switches put in inside. Everything's on relays. And we went night wheeling the other night. It was pretty cool to be able to light up everything around you. Very nice. Never had that before myself in some of the race trucks we have. We have some lights, but not like this. This lights up everything around you. So if you're doing something or have a project or doing something in the dark, super handy. I'm very pleased with how it works, and I'm going to be adding lights to some of my other Land Cruisers as well. Now that we've shown you some of the Krampus Cruiser, some of the things we've done, some of the things that we plan on doing, it's time to go back to the shop and get back on this Axletech project. We are back in the shop. I wanted to explain the breakage on these Axletech shafts a little more so you fully understand what we have happening. This is the stub shaft, and these actually go together. Well, you see this big barrel part here. This is where the U-joints go in. You can see those broken U-joint parts. You can see completely broken body, but really this would be looking like that. So this is the actual U-joint that we're breaking. It breaks it right across the body. And that's why we designed these guys right here. These are billet 4340 300M caps, and this is our solution to the broken Axletech U-joints. So as you can see, these are just wasted, kind of a pain in the butt to get out of there. So we're gonna head to the other room and use my plasma cutter and cut these out so I can pound the caps out. I'm just gonna try to lose these bodies so we can pound the caps out. Kind of a little quick and easy way to get through this. So once I get these caps pressed out of here, pounded out of here more like. I'm gonna go through and completely clean this up. I don't want any rough edges. I'm gonna make it as nice as I can. And this barrel, it might wind up being a spare for us. I'm not sure. Hopefully we can salvage it though. All right, check it out. We got the U-joint caps pressed out. We're gonna get these all cleaned up, get ready for some machining to fit those new caps. I'm over it for today. We're gonna jump in the Land Cruiser, do a little test drive. Tune in next time, and I'll see you in the ditch.